Dr. Matson, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on a magnificent career that has brought you to the presidency of Texas A&M San Antonio. Your dad was forward-looking and ambitious about his career and moving along, and I assume that was conveyed to you, and you have been very forward-looking in terms of developing your career. You went to grade school and elementary and so forth in Alaska.
Well, I was in South San. I started at Kindred Elementary. Then my parents moved into the Harlandale district and we went to Sidney Wright Elementary School.
Got it.
And now I live in the Harlandale district.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I went to elementary school in both California and Alaska and stayed in Alaska through my college years. I got my undergraduate and my MBA, both from the University of Alaska system, two different campuses, but in the same system, and I got my doctorate in California.
And when is the moment that you decided you wanted to pursue higher education and to engage in higher education yourself?
You know,
What was the eureka moment where you figured out this is who I am?
It's really interesting. Growing up in Alaska, at the time that I was there, Alaska was really experiencing the brain drain, as were many winter states, and continue to do that. So there was a lot of focused attention on keeping Alaskans that had gone to elementary, middle, and high school, like I had, in the state. So there were scholarship opportunities for students that had done those three things, elementary, middle, and high school. So I went to the University of Alaska at Fairbanks on a scholarship. And as I was working there and growing up there, basically at the university system, through a mentorship program, was introduced to a career in higher education. And that's really how I found my pathway into higher ed as an administrator. I started off in higher ed administration. I never was in the faculty ranks, although I taught classes occasionally, always on the administrative ranks.
Do you feel a special responsibility to the southern sector of San Antonio? I know that you've created a relationship with the school districts from the southern sector, South San and South Side and Harlandale and San Antonio and Southwest. But talk about what motivates you to do that and what you think you can accomplish with it.
So two big things, I would say. There's a big motivation that comes from the Aggies themselves, the Aggie spirit. So people like yourself, Henry, and Mr. Mays, and Mr. Adams, and Dan Allen Hughes, and many others, Mike Burke. Others have really been very influential in how we think about A&M's presence in San Antonio. But there is no doubt that the importance of those 7 school districts that are in South Bexar County, and sometimes the challenges they've had, which are in the public press, about the turnover within superintendents, and sometimes the concerns that get raised about the quality of education that's happening in the districts. These have been perennial problems back when I was a kid there in the school districts. So it's really important for me that
so you
A&M...
want to focus on the governance, some of the governance issues?
Some of the governance issues, but
administrative issues.
As well as creating a quality pipeline from those districts into A&M San Antonio. And that has really been a driver for the school partnerships.
And how about, you're speaking to an audience here today that's supporting after-school programs. After-school All-Stars. Wonderful program, successful in San Antonio and some 15 other cities across the country. Last time I looked, 65,000 students were participating in after-school All-Stars. What's your view on those critical hours, the after-school hours in middle school and high school, and what should be done with them to advance the ability of children to get into higher education?
I think these are areas where we look at the digital divide. We look at issues around the homework gap that exists sometimes because of the digital divide. Also knowing that many of those students may be coming from families, real working families, where parents are working 2 and 3 jobs. So the importance is A&M San Antonio connection with the All-Star program, the after-school program, to ensure that they can have the high-quality tutoring, the mentoring, the understanding that there are innumerable number of careers out there that haven't even been invented yet.
Is there a connection
for
now,
these students.
Or you want to establish a connection?
We have had connections with the work that you've been doing, but we also have some connections with the All-Stars, the after-school All-Stars programs, to continue to advance students.
And you have to be optimistic if you're in education, because education is, after all, an investment in a future that you believe you can make better. When people used to ask me whether I'm optimistic when I was mayor, I would say, well, I don't know about optimistic, but I'm determined. I know you to be a very determined person. Give me a closing sense of what defines your determination.
Well, it's certainly my days are brighter when I spend time with students, either in the K through 12 system or in college, because you have a living example in front of you that they're trying, they want to do better, they are doing better, and you're watching this transformation, this morphing into becoming the next generation leader. And that's what's vitally important. When I'm in the school districts and I see what the College of Education and Human Development is doing, what our teachers are doing with the work that they have before them, it gives me optimism because I know these children, all children deserve a better life.
Well, I know you're a driven person and you've touched a lot of lives, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for making yourself available to share these ideas with our audience.
There are so many great things happening in San Antonio. They're happening all over San Antonio.
Are you pleased with your decision to come to San Antonio?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
It's been a good family decision.
It's been a great family decision, and there's great synergy here. There's great hope. There's great optimism. This is the new America.
Well, you're part of the hope and optimism. I want you to know.
Thank you. But we are the new America. We're teaching the new America. This is the new America here in San Antonio.
Great. Thank you.